I'm the father of Ernesto Ramirez Jr.
He was a wonderful kid. Since day one, I was a single parent, and I raised him, fed him, diapers. I did everything for him. It was my job to protect my son. My son received a vaccine, and he died a few days later. The only explanation that was given to me was an enlarged heart.
The world not to trust their own eyes.
My government lied to me. They said it was safe.
People were wrong. They're keeping the truth for their power and gain.
I sent his autopsy, which took me 3 weeks to get, to a specialist, and he said my son's heart was over double the normal size, and they had chemicals from the vaccine surrounding it, which causes death.
All the lies you've been fed. Some of you just go along.
They need to quit pushing this on their children. I lost mine. Y'all need to protect yours.
I hold this rose in remembrance of my baby boy and the many others who have lost their lives, including those who have taken their lives.
Sisters behind. You're told it's the best thing to do.
I love the hell out of my country, but I don't trust my government anymore.
We need to take our country back. We need to fight for our freedom again. We shouldn't be forced into doing what they want us to do, knowing the outcome. This thing is not safe, it's not effective.
And they say it's worth the risk. It wasn't worth the risk to me. My son was the world. He meant the world to me. They could never give him back to me. That's all I want is my son back.
The battle's been violent and strange as they lock us indoors in a prison of this silent war.
This is no longer just justice for my son. This is justice for the whole world.
I'm joined now by Ernest Ramirez and Brad Skistimas, 5 times August. You guys have been, touring together a lot, trying to bring attention to this issue. This group of people, maybe it's a small group, we really don't know how big it is, of people that are finding themselves on the wrong side of the safety of this vaccine. So it's a pleasure to be joined by you. Thank you, Brad. Ernest, to begin with, what's been amazing about your story is you don't strike me as someone that has, is comfortable being a public figure. Is it, yet you're really speaking out and getting out of your comfort zone because of this story. What, why?
The thing is, to be honest, I always taught my son how to love God, love country, love family, and always stand up for those who could not protect themselves. And I feel like if I don't stand up and do something to honor my son, he'd be telling me, Dad, you need to practice what you preach. Because I honestly believed I was put in this situation because the good Lord needed people to fight back. I mean, so many people tell me, you need to pray for these people, you need to do whatever. I said, no, not all God's warriors sit, sing, and pray. Some of us are called in to fight. We're called into battle for him because we are here to take care of one another. We put ourselves in this position. I believed their lies, and I thought I was doing something to protect my child. I didn't think I was giving him a death sentence. So I figured along the way, all the people I met, all the injured, like little Maddie, DeGary, Brianne, I mean, so many thousands of other people I've met, no one's standing up for them. Yeah. And I figure I need to stand up and fight for these people. Like I said, to honor my son, to make my son proud of me. So I'm not gonna stop. I mean, I can easily stay at home and grieve, but who else is gonna stand up? I've always said we all need to bond together. That's why we've been to so many different events together. I love this gentleman. He doesn't have to do what he's doing either. But we feel it inside our heart that we need to try to stop this. We need to do something positive, and we need to help our vaccine injured. Because, like I said, our government's not helping them. They tested it on us as like if we were animals. And now that we're either injured or deceased, they just sweep us under the carpet and keep going forward, and they keep pushing it.
Yeah.
So I need to continue doing this. Nobody's going to stop me. And no one's going to try to scare me into keeping quiet. I welcome it. I don't mind. I mean, if this is my job, so be it. Until the day the good Lord takes me home.
Brad, as a musician, you've been one of the great voices, and there's something so powerful that art can do that I don't think anything else can do. But you've put yourself in a firing line. As you watch Neil deGrasse Tyson, I talked about he's got a documentary attacking me and those like me, and I know that you've been attacked for taking your music and supporting this group of people. Why are you doing it? I mean, what is the motivating factor for someone like you that isn't injured? And my understanding, none of your children got injured by the COVID vaccine. Is that right?
Not by the COVID vaccine. My oldest son was injured by his early childhood shots. And so a lot of this was just already in our ether before the COVID era. But Ernest was actually at the first rally that I played at when I started speaking out through my music. And I heard his story, and it just punched me in the gut. And over the course of the last couple of years at other rallies, I've met the injured, I've talked to them and heard their stories and seen what they're going through. And simultaneously, I'm watching nobody in music or art in general speak up or help these individuals. In fact, I saw the Pfizer campaign recently, the No Plan Go one recently with Pink and Questlove and whoever else it was, John Legend. And they're collecting a check on the backs of the injured, pushing big pharma propaganda. I thought, I'm going to do the opposite of that. I'm going to use my music as a tool to help bring the conversation forward, because there's a layer of a culture war here where we're oftentimes, we can argue about data and statistics, which doctors said what, but through art and music, I think that there's an emotional level when you introduce these stories to people, and you're seeing individuals who are running marathons who are now having to relearn how to walk because of this situation. These stories need to be at the forefront of the last 3 years of the conversation, and they're continually suppressed and even mocked at. So I just sort of felt like I have this tool, this album. If we can, get some support behind it, have it go up the charts even. And people, on the outside are looking in, going, why is this little indie album beating out all these major players? Mm-hmm. The answer is, well, he's raising money for the people who've been injured by the COVID shot. And it becomes more real.
You have a campaign going right now. This is the new full-length album, Silent War, 5 times August. Hashtag Fight for You is your campaign. If people, I understand if we go to 5timesaugust.com and /Fight for You, tell me how this works. How does this benefit work? How does the funding going? Where's it going?
Yeah, so this is benefiting React 19,
okay,
who's been there helping out these individuals. And like I said, I've met a lot of these folks over the last year and a half or so. And basically, I'm donating 100% through the digital album sales from Silent War to React 19 to help out these individuals. I wanted to make sure it was going to help out the individuals themselves. So all you have to do is just download the album from Apple or Amazon, wherever you can actually buy it. And I'm just going to take all that and hand it over to help them out. I mean, I'm often seeing these campaigns, these Give, Send, Go campaigns, and these individual campaigns that are happening. And, it's just so heartbreaking that, as Ernest said, you're trying to do the right thing, and then you do it, and severe damage has been done, and you're left behind.
Right.
for doing that. So that's the point of the campaign, is to just sort of thrust the conversation forward.
Ernest, when we think about the propaganda that was around this product, what was it, if you don't mind my asking, was there a singular ad that inspired you, or how did this sort of idea that this vaccine would be good for your son, what got you to do it?
The thing is, excuse me, when all this started up, down there in the Rio Grande Valley where I live, all they were showing were people getting COVID, catching COVID, talking, it was killing people. They were ending up in the hospital, they were put on ventilators, and no one was coming out alive. And being a single parent, me and my son were locked up, and we did what they told us. At first, I started using sanitizer, face masks. We didn't go out unless we really had to. And I went and took the Moderna, so I wouldn't, because I was the only one in and out. And so I thought I wouldn't bring COVID home to my son. Then Pfizer came out, and I mean, like I said, on a regular basis, they were constantly showing these where people were just dying on the respirators, the ventilators. And I said, well, Pfizer said it's safe for teenagers. And I asked him, I said, you want to go get the vaccine? I said, they're saying it's safe. He goes, sure, Dad. Like I said, we're best friends. He was my best. So that's the only reason I did it. I thought I was protecting my son. I thought, there's no way in the world I wanted to see him in the hospital. And they weren't allowing people to be with their families. And I would have fought my way in there, because I wouldn't have left him in the hospital alone. So just being that scare tactic they used on us, I took him to get the vaccine, and he didn't show any side effects or anything. Like I said, every day was a normal day. I would wake him up, get ready for school. I'd give him a hug and a kiss and tell him to call me if he need anything. And then same thing in the afternoon. I'd give my son a hug and a kiss, and just get to start on our day. And that's why I said I've reached out, emailed, called, tried to get in contact with Biden all this time.
How long after the vaccine?
5 days.
5 days later?
5 days. He was my neighbor. She's real good people. They've been there for me and my son. They would always check on me and Junior all the time. Are you okay? And they would want to send us food. But we're, like I said, we live paycheck to paycheck. We're doing good. My son didn't lack anything. Her son was Junior's best friend. They were like brothers. So she asked me if she could take him out to eat, and I wouldn't let him out. That was the first time I let him out, because he took that first dose, and I thought my son was protected. So I met him at the front door. I gave him some money, and I gave him a hug and a kiss. I didn't realize that was the last time I was going to talk to my son. She said they went to eat, and they were playing games. Then she took him to the park. She told me they got off the truck, and they started running across the parking lot, and that's where he collapsed. He just collapsed, no signs of anything. And she called me hysterical, and I couldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it, because that's my son. Nothing could happen to him. So I raced over there, and they wouldn't let me on the ambulance. They wouldn't let me ride with my son. So I chased the ambulance all the way to the hospital. And like I said, these people, they like nothing. They worked on him for a while in the hospital, and they just came on and said, your son's dead, you can go home now. And I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to leave without my son. So like I said, I did get upset. I cursed God out loud. I cursed anyone that called me and mentioned anything about God. And I got suicidal too. And then something in the back of my mind told me I couldn't do that, because that's a sin. And my plan is to go to heaven and see my son again. And so I figured I'm going to have to change this around. I'm going to have to make something positive in my son's honor. So that's why I started this fight. And then I made plans on driving to D.C. Senator Ron Johnson contacted me, asked me, he heard what I was planning on doing. I told him I'm going to ride my motorcycle to D.C. and try to get some attention, get some answers. And he asked me to meet him there, because he wanted to know what I was going to do. I said, I have no plans. I'm going to knock on the gate. I'm going to see if Biden comes out. I need some answers. So that's when he had the round table. And well, I did start a GoFundMe, and people were donating to help me financially to get there, and they canceled it because they said everything.
GoFundMe did.
Yes, they said because everything I was doing, the reason I was doing it went against all the rules and regulations. So after my first interview with Ivory Hecker, she helped me start up another one, Life Under. And then she called me the following day, Ernest, can I interview again? And I said, yes, ma'am. We raised over $10,000 in less than 24 hours. So that's when I went up there to meet Senator Ron Johnson, and that's when the battle started. I met Brianne Dressing, co-founder of React 19, Dr. Joe Walskog, little Maddie DeGarry, a sweet little girl. I mean, like I said, unfortunately, I have met thousands of injured and grieving families along this way.
Yeah.
And the only good thing out of it is I have another family now, and they actually give me the energy to continue. If I stay at home, I do get, in my feelings, and I don't want to do anything or go anywhere. But seeing these people, just their smiling faces, even though they're suffering, they give me energy to fight harder for them. Because, like I said, nobody's worried about them. Nobody's trying to help them financially. They need thousands, millions of dollars to get them all back to hopefully a normal lifestyle again.
Yeah. Well, you're truly a hero. So many people could really just stay in their home. Really, it's obvious. I don't think it's lost on anyone. What that experience would be like when I think about my own kids. Brad, I know that's what drives you. We think about our kids as fathers. We're there to protect them. And we think of a story where you were trying to do that. The work that both of you are doing is really, really important. And of course, the Highwire, is in complete support of that. And I know you've got a great motorcycle that you're touring around in, that is sort of got images and all over it. You have a trailer that you've made to sort of bring attention to this. And
yes, it's for the vaccine injured. I have photos of a lot of vaccine injured people I've met along the way. It's not just about me and my son. It's about everyone. It's a world issue. That's what we're dealing with.
It is. So
that, if it has to be a rolling billboard, they can't stop me from doing what I do with my own personal property. So I'll take it everywhere I'm asked to take it.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story here and everywhere you're sharing it. I know you are saving lives, and that is truly for Ernesto Jr. That's the best that you can do, is to remember him by all the children that are saved. And so I know that that's happening. I want to thank you for that, everyone. Thank you for coming in here today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Brad, thank you for supporting this group. And I understand, I wanted to have you can play us a little song to sort of wrap up this conversation.
Yep.
Do what you do best in this arena. That'd be great.
All right. Great.
Cool. We got a guitar for this guy and a microphone.
Thank you.
Through the madness and the lies, as they're holding back the truth, no matter what they try, I will always fight for you. I will save your innocence. They are trying to remove. I am here at your defense, and I will always fight for you. Yes, I will always fight for you. I will stand here in the way, and I will not give up on you. I will shield you from the pain. In the battle on the field, and feel that I will always fight for you. In the darkness of the times, there's a light that shines the proof. It'll soon reveal the crime, so I won't stop this fight for you. Yes, I will always fight for you. I will brave every attack, and I will not give up on you. I will always have your back. So to every single mother, father, stand up, all your sons and daughters. Do not back down, don't let up. You are all they have for armor, so make this a war to win. Look in their eyes and tell them that I will always fight for you. I will stand guard at the gate, and I will not give up on you. I will stop each shot they take. Yes, I will always fight for you. I will always fight for you.
Ernesto, 5 Times August. Catch the album, go buy it now, and support those that are being injured, because we don't just care about the consensus here at the Highwire or anywhere in this group. As fathers, as mothers, here's Ernesto's website if you want to follow all the work that he's doing, juniorsguardianvoice.com. Just amazing work you guys are doing. It's an honor to know you and be a part of this journey with you.
Someday when the war is finally won, after all the damage has been done, you will look around and have to ask yourself, did you wake up with the lines, or did you just stay asleep? Someday when the truth has been revealed, after all the effort to be healed, you will see the wounded everywhere you go. So wake up with the lions, don't let yourself stay asleep. Wake up to the crossfire, wake up from the lies, wake up from the fear that's covering up your eyes, wake up from the hate and wake up to the cries, wake up as a warrior fighting for what's right, wake up as a soldier and wake up with the lines. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Someday when the dark has been destroyed, broken by the rebel girls and boys, you'll be looking back and have to ask yourself, did you fight